week 3 of the practices.
Yep.
What have you kind of noticed? How have you noticed the team taking steps forward since day one?
I thought we had 6 good days before the break. I thought, first day back from the break, I thought the defense really didn't skip a beat. They were flying around, had good energy. Thought offense was pretty sloppy. Don't know if that had anything to do with the break or just a bad day or what, but that's got to get better. But the guys' intentions are good. They're wanting to get out of spring what we got to get out of spring, which is different than fall camp. It's all about fundamentals, execution, details. It's not always about the end result of plays and stuff. And so sometimes people are getting better in areas and you may not see it on the defense or the offense, but it's all about that process. But I thought the defense flew around really well today.
You've had some time to watch this defensive line. What have you seen from them? And it seemed like they picked right back up where they left off.
Yeah, I think so. I think, on the outside, I think we've got some juice still. We got guys back like Elijah and Turbo and Cam Robinson and then you got new guys like Jafari and Avor, and so I think we've got some ability to rush the passer, and I think we got some depth. I think we've got better depth on the inside too. I mean, it remains to be seen kind of how we hold up in a live game situation and all that. And but the bodies we brought in at D-tackle, I think, give us good depth. Probably even better depth than we had a year ago. So can we get the same production? That remains to be seen, but I think the depth has been really good.
Speaking of the defense, how do you feel they're getting up to speed communication-wise, especially with the new guys?
Yeah, a lot of guys returning. Obviously we lost the D-tackle pieces and a little bit of corner, but a lot of the kind of quarterbacks of the defense, if you will, are your safeties and your linebackers, and those guys are all back. Right. So I think you can see we're a lot further along now than definitely were this time last year. You got the McGills, the Isaiahs, the Ahmad Moses, the CJ Sanders, and those guys in the back end. Like, they're communicating at a high level. Same thing with Ahmad and Kobe and some of those guys at linebacker and Kilgore and even the guys that have come in that are new are picking it up. And so I think the communication, the understanding of the defense, the getting lined up, the execution, all that is a much further along this spring than it would have been, say, last spring.
How do you keep guys engaged with fundamentals when you're in year 3 of this staff and some of these players year 3? How do you make sure you keep that fresh?
That's a great question. I mean, it's really easy in life or in football or anything to get bored doing the routine things over and over and over again. But the reality of it is the good football teams can do routine things over and over and over again. And there's a lot of areas for us to improve based on last year, but this is a new team, and so we're learning these guys. We do have a lot of guys returning on both sides. Obviously we're shuffling some things on the O-line. We feel really good about it. We're more athletic, we're more talented. I think when we get some guys back from injury and some guys in that are coming in June, I think we'll have good depth there. But still, J.O. figuring out center, guys that tackle. Like, there's communication things that take some reps. But at the skill positions, you got a lot of guys back. And so, I think that's the challenge, is third year in a system, both defensively and offensively. Particularly on the offensive side, a lot of guys who have been here both of those years. It's like, how do you come out and not get bored running the same plays and running the same this and that, and really work on, being so good at it that we should be able to hold a sign up and tell the defense what we're about to run and still execute. And that's what we're trying to get to. We're clearly not anywhere near it right now.
Is that something that you ever look at in recruiting? Is that something you can ever tell that a player can be engaged, kind of regardless of the situation? Is that something you can do?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, everybody's got a different personality. I think you won't find people that love football. If they love football and they want to be great and they have aspirations of playing at the next level, whether they do or not, then they're going to buy into whatever it is they have to do to be the best version of themselves. And then it's our job as coaches to communicate that, hold them accountable to that standard, and not let them get distracted or bored with, hey, no, look, I may be really good at this, but I can also get better at this. Hey, maybe I'm great at catching a go ball, but I got to get better at running a slant. Or maybe I get better at my blocking, those kind of things. Like, there's always something you can work on, my releases versus press, and, the way I'm at the top of my routes, or the way I am on my first step stretching a tackle, or like whatever. I mean, everybody's always got something they're working on. That's the beauty of this game. Like, you're always striving for perfection. You never get there. It's kind of like the real world. And so, but it's hard. It's human nature to either get bored, get lazy, and so it's our job to keep them on track and put in front of them, hey, this is what we got to get better at today, so we can keep making those strides.
What's this spring been like for Kevin so far? What have you thought about how he's taken it?
I thought it's been good, man. He's getting all those reps. As well as he's played in games for us, he's still only played in he started 2 games and probably played in a total like 5 real game situations. So, man, when you look at that, like, there's still not as much game experience, and he still played really well. So I think just the more reps this whole spring, I think, is valuable to him. I think he's starting to, you see it every day, he's starting to give guys chances in certain places better. He's very calm. He knows when to pull it down and run and those kind of things. And then I think Keldrick Luster, I know you didn't ask about him, but I think you can tell, obviously the fall, he was a true freshman, but still here in his first year, he's a different guy this spring. You can just tell he's comfortable, he knows what we're doing, he's making a lot of good plays. So I've been really pleased with his progression.
When you've got that kind of depth at quarterback, a lot of leaders in the quarterback room, what does it do for you in season, not just the availability of multiple quarterbacks, but what does it kind of do in terms of in-game, how much they're able to bring when they're not?
Yeah, I mean, I think having guys that, 1, are good and 2, have some experience is huge. I mean, that he's the coach on the field on game day. You can't win without him. And so we've been fortunate to have good quarterback play the last couple of years, and we've won. We're going to have it, just like every other position, raise its level next year. But we're fortunate to have those guys. There's a lot of trust from the coaching standpoint. Where that really helps you is in like the off season, like the summer, when they got to do a lot of things on their own. They know what we're doing. They have leadership. They have a connection with the guys, and they can kind of coach that through the summer when we're not allowed to be there.
I know it's early, but what kind of impact have you seen Coach King have on those guys so far?
I think he's had a great impact. I think, I think there's a lot of things. First of all, I think just he commands their respect because he's more on their level in terms of age, and he's been there recently, both at the college and professional level. And so there's a relatability factor there that he just naturally has that really helps him, gives him credibility, and they want to listen to him. And he's played in our system. So all those things I think help. I think the second thing is he's played, he knows what he liked as a quarterback from his quarterback coach. Don't ask him what he didn't like because he might tell you what I didn't do well. But I think it helps him communicate very calmly, very confidently, and I think he does a good job of teaching and communicating at that position. And so I think it's been a really good transition.